you got to realize that whatever you're doing, you're competing with somebody. What is it that gives you an advantage over your competition? Whatever you're good at, try to be great at it. And if you're great at it, good things will happen.
Maverick.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. This is the Maverick Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Maverick. Before we get started, the intro you just heard is from none other than Loudmouth Beats. He was on the previous episode, so definitely shout out to him. And then we're going to kick it off. The one and only, the pal from the Panhandle, the one and only Marco Salas. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, DJ Maverick. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Very cool. For the 1% of the people out there that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm a dude that just loves OKC. I'm originally from the Panhandle, but I moved here. Kind of college brought me here. And so I've done a lot of different little jobs here around the city.
Yeah.
But I guess some people may know me from either taking pictures, being at some like music events, or playing bass, or even teaching some classes at OCCC.
Okay.
Or running a sexual health clinic on 39th.
Wow.
So
yeah, we're talking off cameras, like jack of all trades, like literally, right? So for the people that don't know about the Panhandle, I guess from Guyman, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the Panhandle. Like, what was it like growing up there, going to school there?
Well, I always tell people this, like Oklahoma is like this.
Yeah,
and then
definitely. Like literally like the handle part, right?
And we're right here, like right in the middle.
Yeah.
And we're one of the biggest cities there. It's not too big.
Okay.
But I mean, it's a really fun little town.
So if I was a high school student, Guyman, Friday night, where's the place to be? What am I going to do?
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of Spanish speakers, so you'd probably be with your compas.
Nice. Cool.
You know, driving around Main Street.
Okay.
up back and forth.
Yeah. So people just like cruise Friday night, just cruise the main street.
You know, play that cool music.
Nice. Cool. What about like activities and stuff during school? Were you into sports? Were you into? I know you're into photography. So
actually, I tried out for the soccer team, but I only lasted my freshman year.
Really?
And the coach was like, "Man, this ain't for you."
Why? What'd you get cut? Just
I don't know, man. I was just I would say I'm pretty bad. So I've done some I played some soccer here too in OKC.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm the best. I love the sport. I feel like, you know, I admire it, talk about it, watch it a lot, do some photos for it.
Okay.
But it just no fue lo mío.
Yeah. What did you play? Did you play forward, defense?
Defense. You know,
defense?
I feel like I've always wanted to score goals.
Yeah.
But when I was like, well, I can't do that. So I might as well just thug it out and throw some elbows, some shoulders.
That's cool. That's cool. And then like after that, you never kept it up. You just gave up after high school? Or
well, after that, I feel like academics was always my thing. Okay. So I was doing this thing called academic team. It was kind of like trivia. Mm-hmm. And so that's what actually got me through, like got me to college, got me a scholarship.
Cool. And
so I also did debate. That was those two things are very big for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. What did you focus on? What was the major in college?
I actually went for my master's.
Okay.
And I actually did it in like history. And then I did my bachelor's in sociology.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, just a little bit like, I think reading has always been my thing too. So
cool. I feel like we could take the conversation many different paths, but I want to start off with the music and you being a bass player. So tell me about like being involved with the music scene. How'd you get into that? Where'd you learn to play bass? Let's go down that path.
Actually, I was, looking up for a hobby, and so I always wanted to play guitar. Mm-hmm. And so I picked it up. Actually, I ended up getting an acoustic. I was at an open mic. Some guy on stage came. He played like a Pink Floyd song, was beautiful.
Okay.
And then he got too sloshed, and then they were kicking him out the bar. So I offered to give him a ride. And so it was cool, and he just gave me a guitar. So that was my first acoustic.
He gave you the guitar for giving him a ride home?
Yeah.
Or what? Yeah.
And it was an acoustic. It was a Yamaha. I still have it. Okay. It's a little beat, but that was my first, and I was like going through a hard time. Mm-hmm. So I just picking it up, trying to play some songs. Then I got myself an electric just down the street in this little pawn shop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I Stratocaster.
Yeah, okay.
And then I just didn't get enough. I was like, I don't know if I'll get gigs for it, but let's pick up the bass. I went to go visit my mom. She lives in Arkansas.
Okay.
And so it's like a video game store, and they just happened to have a bass, P bass, a Fender P bass.
Nice.
So got it, and that's what got me some gigs. I think at the first year playing it,
So the first year you're already doing gigs and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you learn to play? Just YouTube or what?
A little bit of that. Actually, the first project I played with was, I guess he was like a music teacher. And he wanted to do like this R&B project. His name's Troy Smalls. And he brought me on. He said, yeah, I'll play bass. I just started. I don't know a lot, but he was patient with me. Just kind of taught me some music theory.
Yeah.
And it went from there. After that, I just did another one and another one. And
that's awesome. I feel like there's two types of bass players. There's the guys that just stay in the pocket. Yeah. And then there are guys that go all out, like doing all kinds of crazy riffs, right? Like, where would you land in that scale?
Probably the guy who doesn't know what he's doing, but he's doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What do you prefer as far as like genres? Where do you want to play?
I surprisingly done a whole bunch of different genres. Like I started with the R&B project.
Cool.
Then I played for like a grunge band, and we actually traveled for that. Went to Dallas.
Nice.
And then after that, I did like a little. My last one was like a country project.
Okay.
And it was with Bo Turrentine. He's like a local country star.
Cool.
And it was at the Speakeasy, so I can say I played the Speak.
Yeah.
And it was a cool experience. So
that's awesome.
I think that's when it kind of clicked. I was like, hey man, maybe I'm not like too bad at this. And
yeah, for sure. If you're already doing gigs and then doing a wide range of genres,
oh yeah,
I mean that speaks volumes.
And then today, right now I'm like in a hardcore punk project, so that's probably been the hardest one.
Wow, how'd you get involved with that?
I don't know, just another music, kind of type of music that I like, and I know it's pretty big here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So the hardcore scene here is like really interesting, and so I've done photos for them, and I don't know, some guy reached out, was like, "You want to start a band?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Nice.
But it's been hard keeping guys agreeing on a name, creating your own music from scratch.
Yeah, so and then practice, right? Yeah. Like nobody wants to practice, but everybody wants to do the show.
We're surprised,
right?
like you find people that want to practice, and that's who you want to start bands with.
For sure. Yeah, that's cool. I'm super interested in all that. I think if we were to sum up the music, like where do you want to take that? Like in the future, how far you want to take that?
I mean, I guess just as far as possible. I feel I'm one of those people that believe you should always just follow your passions and do these things because life's short. And so, just got to do it.
That's cool. So then music scene, you also got involved with photography and sort of taking photos, video of concerts, stuff like that, or what?
Mostly photos. Okay. Or do some videos, but I just feel like whatever goes natural. And I think photography just one of those things, picked it up.
Yeah.
And kind of stuck with it. And before I know it, just doing it repetitively, not being shy about it. I think that's the hardest thing about a photographer is being able to take pictures of strangers or other people.
That's
cool.
And
so it just becomes easier.
How did you get into concert? Because I feel like concert photography is probably one of the hardest, right? Like the worst conditions, it's always dark. People are moving fast. So from a photography perspective, that's like the worst condition ever,
right? So I do a lot of metal shows, or not a lot, but those are to me my most dangerous ones because you got these people kicking and coming
You're in the middle of the mosh pit,
or
you
want to get close to them. I try not to mosh. I feel like I can't handle it, so I just kind of stick to myself and take pics.
Cool. What kind of do you use the flash at all, or how do you get
some flash? I just recently got a fisheye.
Oh, okay.
So those are cool.
Yeah. How do you get into the venue? Do you have to get a press pass to be able to do that, or what?
Not so much. I feel like for me, I mean, if I get one cool, sometimes it sucks to when people expect me to do events and they're like, oh, you just get a free pass and that's my only payment.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes I do just love supporting the scene. So I go pay my ticket.
That's awesome.
There's some places that they're pretty cool with me. I just become a regular. There's one, the Resident Head, want to shout them out, but they invited me to a trivia there.
Okay. So that's located on the southwest side, right?
South side, huh?
Yeah. Is that just a venue for all types of events or what?
Yeah, mostly music or just caters towards young people.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's really cool that you got involved with the photography side of things because then you're sort of seeing the behind the scenes, right? Yeah. So what's probably been your favorite concert that you've covered as a photographer?
There's just so many. I don't know. There's
let's do top 3, top 5. You tell me.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you ones that stand out, but last weekend I was at one. It was kind of heavier music.
Okay.
One this band called I Hate God.
Nice.
So I'm pretty dark, pretty edgy, but then there's cool. I like their music. And so, I mean, I feel like it went well. Did a lot with the fisheye.
Okay.
And I don't know, some metal ones have been not big in getting my style, but trying to figure it out. I think another band that's becoming pretty big is Chat Pile. They're from OKC. Mm-hmm. They did one at the Sanctuary. It's a really nice venue, pretty dark. And so did some cool ones there. That it's a pretty great band. So being able to see them, and then another one that sends out to me too is like Cannibal Corpse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did some film, which is kind of hard to do, especially in the dark.
For sure.
But right here, went to Bedford, got some good recommendation, and it all worked out.
That's cool. What's been sort of the craziest performance you've seen? Because like some of those darker bands, I bet the performances get pretty crazy. So what's been sort of the craziest thing that you've seen at one of those concerts?
I don't know. Apparently some guy got into a fight the last one I was in for saying something inappropriate.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, other than that, I mean, you see like a lot of mosh, a lot of whatever. But, you know, I've always surprised too, like the types of music, I mean, that I guess I've been attracted to and I'm not opposed to. Like I do a lot of like techno and rave too. There's a show this weekend, actually tomorrow at the Farmers Market.
Cool.
I've done a lot of photos for these people called like for Represent House Lab. So they're a cool little venue, like a little label started here in Oklahoma City.
Okay. For
electronic music and just the DJs that's given opportunities has been pretty nice.
Cool. And they just like throw different parties at different venues or
just seeing them grow like organically was pretty nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So important question for you. Sounds like you're not afraid to try new things and to reach out to people. Yeah. A lot of people I think want to do some of that stuff, but maybe they hold back because maybe they're a little shy. Like, what would be some advice to people that like, hey, you want to try this photography, you want to try music or whatever that might be? How do you get started with that?
I think it just, and I've said this like so many times, like it has to come naturally.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's just something that you're good at, just go for it. And like, don't think anything is too strange or too weird because I mean, what's nice about the human experience is that like people are different and have like different talents and
for sure,
you know, can be good at so many different things. And like now in this modern age, like there's so many, I guess, jobs being created and people have like this power that they never had before thanks to like social media.
Yeah, definitely. I think nowadays, like you're almost your own brand, right? So you're kind of in control of your own brand. And if you want to be branded as a creative or if you want to be branded as a business person or whatever, like your social media and everything, you can tell people, hey, this is me, this is who I am, this is who I like, right? So is that kind of what you've been doing as far as your social media? Is just like, you know, saying, hey, I'm into music, I'm into photography, you know, into, you know, helping out the community, stuff like that, right?
I mean, I thought like a lot about my brand and obviously like the things I represent. I think everybody represents something or we all try to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just getting your story out and not being shy, I think that always helps. But I feel like for me, I never saw it as such. I just saw like this is being human. And that's what I always try to, one of those ideas that I just try to pass, you know, is like, I don't know, just live your life and don't be afraid to show it.
That's cool. So growing up, was there any music influence? Anybody in your family into bands or music or anything like that?
Surprisingly, just like, well, I guess my older brother, like I guess like the black sheep of the family, but he was into a lot of nu metal, like Slipknot and Marilyn Manson. And so just like breaking away from the tradition, I guess I just really made a big impact on me. But mostly just my family, like into, you know, just a lot of Mexican stuff. I mean, I'm a huge fan too. Yeah. And it's just grown. I think the older I've grown, the more I appreciate it. And now, like, you hear, like, that old music and, you know, brings back a lot of nostalgia.
For sure. We were talking about your family being part Chihuahua, part Zacatecas. So I imagine maybe, like, Releros, Primavera, and then maybe, like, Temerarios on the Zacatecas, or what are we talking about?
With, well, at least with my family, they're very, say, like, ranchero, very rural. So they liked a lot of tamborazo.
Oh, okay.
You know, just straight snares.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I mean, but just a little bit of everything. Like I guess I'm happy to grow like around the time that I did and the different influences and even my tias getting me into like, you know, even some rock or like Juanes or all that, Moderato.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what my grandpa and my mom, very traditional, but even some of that stuff has really stuck to me. Like Chalino, Jose Alfredo.
Nice.
And one thing, I have like a brother too, spent some time, and the only thing I have to remember him is his tapes.
Okay.
And so, you know, they're etched with his prison number.
Oh, yeah?
And so I always find them in like weird times of my life. Yeah. But, you know, I've had some Chalino, some Jose Alfredo, some Reyleros, some Huracanes.
That's interesting. Yeah. So you kind of listen to that to like kind of like remember and stuff like
I'm
that?
I'm a music collector too. Yeah. And I mean, tapes is something that I just recently been getting into. And I think they're the new vinyls, but their cassettes are so awesome, sound so great, and
they do until they
making a
don't,
comeback.
right? Because like cassette tapes are like finicky, right? Like sometimes you'll be listening, the tape will pop, right? Or
yeah,
something.
if you're not careful with them, But that's like, I mean, vinyls too. You got to be careful with them, and CDs.
That's true. Yeah, I just remember like old school tapes, like the tape would pop, or also like it seems like over time, like the magnetic like deteriorates, and then it doesn't sound as good over the years. But I don't know. Maybe that's just like the way you store it or something. I don't know.
And I mean, I'm interested in that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
Just I don't know, like the decay of it and the way we like remember music.
For sure.
I would say some of my favorites that I've been right now, like exploring genres. I don't know if you ever heard into like the vaporwave type music or hauntology.
Yeah, yeah.
So this thing that like, you know, the music that we have is related to like these, like our memory and like what we are.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anytime that I listen to a song, I can remember, like, it takes me back to, like, the first time I heard it. I can remember where I was at, like, the smell, like, everything. Like, might remind me of a cookout. It might remind me of, like, high school. I don't know if that ever happens to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think all the time. And now even with, like, my photos, I want to not, like, incorporate music, but, I don't know, just, like, some instructions, maybe some song to play.
Yeah. That's awesome. So the other thing that you do to add to this list of everything is you're also a professor.
I don't know how I ended up coming across it, but OCCC just kind of like hollered at me and it said if I wanted to be in their GED program. So I teach adults and I teach in Spanish.
Awesome.
Yeah, trying to get them their GED.
Okay, so if you're doing GED, you're having to cover like everything, pretty much every subject, or what?
We're all like 6 to 1, so I got math. Yeah, and that's what I teach.
Cool. You enjoy that, or you're a math person?
Not really. I wanted to teach social studies. I'm more so like political, but I helped my grandpa with a citizenship test, and that's a lot of social studies.
Yeah.
So I was always into like the liberal arts. So when I went into school, like it's gonna be my degree.
Cool.
So I don't know. Everybody always needs a math teacher. Every time I was tutoring, it was always math. Every time I was like at different schools, it was like helping in math.
Yeah, definitely. Tell me maybe like the most rewarding thing that's come out of being a professor. Like, do you remember somebody that tried so hard to get their GED, or maybe like, you just helped them. They didn't think that it was possible. Maybe tell me your coolest story there.
I think just seeing one of your students graduate. Yeah. And at least like the ones like that, I guess you go through a lot of people, but there's always be that one, I guess, student that, you just kind of, they thank you and, they reach out and you help them. Yeah. So it's those things. And I don't say I try to be too much of a like educator, but I also think like it's a form of social work.
Okay.
And like, just being there and teaching and.
Yeah, because reading your story and everything, it sounds like you're also big into community and helping out the community and stuff like that, right? Like, why is that important to you?
It's one of those things that people I feel we have to do. It's always nice. I guess we all have like different jobs in life, and I know some get paid better than others. But I guess when it comes to helping people, and same thing with teaching, it's always underpaid. It's a lot of work dealing with lots of people.
Yeah.
But when you figure out that, I guess, thing you want to help people with, I think it becomes easier.
Okay.
And so I always knew I wanted to help people in some way. And so I just, one of those things came easy. I've worked, at least I have 2 years now experience working kind of in community health. And so I was managing a clinic on 39th called Expressions.
Okay. And
so I was there, coordinator of the HIV prevention program. So it was one of those things, helping people that were HIV positive, testing for STDs, which also like giving out Narcan and fentanyl test kits.
Yeah. What has been sort of like some of the tools that you've used to like get people to open up about that stuff?
I think just talk.
Yeah.
Because, my job was kind of like forcing me a little to go and like speak out. And it was always hard at first, but it got easier.
Okay.
One place where they had me was the Mexican consulate. So every week I was going up and like telling people, all right, this is what I do. This is where you can get this help.
Wow. So you have to like give a presentation and everything.
And so it was kind of, weird at first, but I feel like I already was doing it in some ways. Every time you get up and like do, I don't know, like workshops with other agencies or you present yourself, it's all it is. Like you're just telling people what you do and your job.
Yeah.
So that's what I was telling him. And then it became kind of natural at first. And before you know it, I saw people come in from over there to like the clinic to come get tested. So it's one of those like kind of weird things like, wow, I'm like promoting this, but I'm actually making a difference.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool. I think that, you sort of presenting that allows people probably to be vulnerable or be comfortable with like seeking help, right? Because a lot of people, they're just like holding it in, right? Like just keep it canned up and that's not really healthy, right?
Yeah, and it's weird that I've become like, even to my friends, like that guy they can come to is like, hey, bro,
okay,
I'm feeling a little funny, and I'm like, all right, and then we talk about it, and that's it, you know, just refer him to the help. I still do it, so
yeah. So, are you typically outgoing, or would you consider yourself an introvert? And like maybe this is difficult to like give these presentations, reach out to people. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I'm an introvert that really forces myself to be an extrovert.
Okay.
And it's a little tough, but I don't know, you just do it. And that's the thing. Communication is such a powerful tool.
Yeah. And I think regardless of what role you are in life, like you have to communicate, right? So like you said, you're an introvert, maybe it's a little uncomfortable and then you just do it. Does it get easier over time though? You tell me.
Yeah. And sometimes with some help. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I like that. So where all day have you traveled? You traveled like just here in the state, or?
I've been out of the country once or twice. One time I went to Barcelona. I had a friend that's a skateboarder, wanted some pictures, so I went with him.
Awesome.
And it was a cool trip. I got to see the Camp Nou. That's like a temple of football, which I think about that more than like any other. That big church with the holes, the Sagrada Familia.
Yeah.
But I mean, seeing Messi play is just crazy.
You've seen him?
Yeah.
Did you see him over there? Or?
Yeah, I saw him over there. It was 2020. They had the checkerboard jersey.
Yeah.
They were playing. They still had Suarez and Griezmann.
Okay.
And cool. So it was a beautiful game, and he scored a crazy banger.
Man, tell me about that, because a lot of people, they probably haven't experienced that kind of level of soccer, right? They're getting a little taste now that Messi's in Miami, right? But just being in that stadium and the fans are super crazy. Like, walk me through all the emotions of being there.
Well, so I even remember half of it, but you know, I just know being there and like the emotions and how big that stadium is. Like, you always surprise yourself watching it like on TV and being like, wow, like this is, I don't know, like soccer is one of those things I'm still very passionate about. And everybody who wants to experience a live game should. And I know it's a sport that's really growing here in the States.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised it hasn't cut on yet, right? Like, I think now it's kind of with Messi, and ticket prices went from like $20 to like $500, right?
No, and I got some friends that are very interested in it now.
Yeah. That's cool.
I got some buddies in Miami that are can't handle it, but they're excited, you know. The Miami's being mentioned so much on TV, and they got Messi playing there. Like, I just can't imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So for all your photography and concert footage, all that, do you build out your own individual social media website for that? Like, where can people check that kind of stuff out?
Instagram. I love Instagram. I already got my little photography page. I'm like curating of some of my pictures.
Cool.
And so Do-Rag Productions.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of wear this thing sometimes if you see me out.
Okay. So if you're like shooting a concert or something, you'll have that on?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And so I don't know, just little cool thing I guess I do in persona.
That's kind of like your business card.
Yeah.
That's cool. So if people also want, let's say I'm a band and I want like maybe some pictures for an album cover, or maybe just like for a new project I'm working on, can I reach out to you? And you do that kind of stuff?
Let's run it.
Okay. Cool.
Whatever. If it's a show, like capture a show.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see my work and see for yourself. I don't know. Like, if it's cool, if it's a style you want to go with, if not, it's cool. But I'm gonna still be doing it.
How about a full-blown like music video? If I want to do,
I want to get there. I want to get there. But I'm a fan of the music video as a medium. I have some favorite ones. So
have you like explored with like editing videos, stuff like that, or not yet?
I think a little bit here, but I helped edit my I guess my high school's that graduation video, that video they do at the end. And that was my first exposure to it. But since then, I guess a little bit by little bit, like, we'll see. I know there's some, an Instagram to keep up with your game. Videos are they're an important tool too. And seeing some of the kids coming out of OKC and the amazing stuff they're doing. Yeah,
very cool. So I want to say you're probably also into writing. Is that right? You also do some writing, stuff like that?
Yeah, I think just like personal and, you know, what I find, like the media that I find.
Okay.
So I think writing and poetry are like a big thing in my style. So I never stop reading. That's another life advice I give people. And whatever, if they can find 5 to 10 minutes to read something that they're interested in, that's a pretty good.
That's always my thing, is like trying to find time. Like, I can do Audible. Like if I'm driving or something, I'll do that. But it's probably not the same, right, as like an actual book. Like, do you take like a physical book with you and carry it around or what? Let's see what you got right now.
But, I say I have a lot of friends that stick to audiobooks. I mean, if that's how you get your books, it's just another consumable way.
So what are you reading right now?
I'm reading Soccer in the Sun and Shadow, or there's just one I felt like picked up, but it's by Eduardo Galeano. He's a history writer. He writes a lot about Latin American history. And so this is a book on soccer and the impact it had on Latin America. And yeah, just a little combination of history and the sport.
Very cool.
So keep a card too.
Nice.
Chelsea. Mason Mount.
Is that your team?
Yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan. So.
Chelsea.
I mean, I like well, more than anything, I'm an Americanista.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Say that on record, man. That's my team.
All right, cool. So you watch like both European League and also Mexican League?
I love Liga MX.
Yeah?
I think it's a great league. There's a reason why it's the most watched soccer league in America.
Yeah.
Ahead of the MLS. Because we have a lot of Latinos that are into it, and just the drama and the unpredictability.
Like what genres do you sort of like go into? Right now it sounds like you're mixing both your love for soccer and reading, right? But what other kind of stuff do you like to read?
Just everything. People like find something you're passionate about, follow it. Luckily, I don't know, it was just this thing that I find a lot of things pretty cool.
Okay.
So I mean, I read a lot about even things from like spirituality to just like fiction to just history. Well, the book I wanted to bring was called Midnight Cowboy.
What is that?
From the 70s.
Okay.
It's about male trauma. It's like a fiction story. And so it's turned into a movie. My guitarist from one of my punk bands gave it to me to read. And so it's been a nice little read. And but yeah, like if you say like some sad things, I feel to me my biggest motivation is always like not like trauma, but I like these kind of like, I guess, dark and morbid.
I see. How do you find balance in everything that you're doing? Because it sounds like you've got a million projects, a million stuff going on. How do you find balance? And then you're also got your job, everything else, right?
Yeah. Well, I think everything kind of just balances out for me. I guess I can balance the edginess sometimes of like more my creative side with the more helpful and smart side. Yeah. And I try not to be so much of a nerd, so I kind of get interested in some like cool stuff. So
nice. How would your friends describe you, think, if I was like, hey, tell me about this guy? Would they describe you as like a creative or more like a student, professor? Like, how do you think?
I feel like my close ones would be like, man, he's weird. But
yeah.
But I mean, I like that though about myself, and they know, at least my close friends, the kind of wacko I can be and the stuff that we can talk about.
Yeah, that's cool. What about podcasts? What kind of podcasts? Are you into podcasts?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's a medium that I've been very interested in for a while. I wouldn't say like I have a favorite podcaster.
Okay.
But it's also strange, like watching like a lot of YouTube videos. Like there's people that can talk about a subject and like just kind of keep you entertained.
Yeah.
And some of them aren't even like the traditional type of podcast. Like it's like video. Like I don't know, incorporate. Like some moving images or even some music.
Definitely. I was hoping that you would say that I was your favorite podcaster.
No,
but I was not.
No, actually,
I'm just messing with you.
No, I think you're one of the best in Oklahoma City. Not even.
No, I'm just messing with you.
I like the way you like communicate with some people, the guests that you've brought, how intimate you can make it. I feel like you're very good at talking with people.
I think it's really just, I want to just like highlight people around the city that are doing cool things. So, whether you're an artist, whether you're a musician, photographer, entrepreneur, you're doing cool things, like come on to the Maverick Podcast.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having us. Just like people don't understand some like opportunities. And so, I mean, everybody who's been able to be on your podcast, whoever's coming next, I hope they really, you get some like bright and brilliant people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even if like somebody that's watching and they learn something new out of this, I think that's a win, right? Like if one person watches it and then maybe they're like, hey, I always wanted to be an artist. They watch the podcast and they're like, hey, if they're doing it, maybe I can, right? I think that would be super cool.
I'm saying like even like a couple hundred people that watch you is like a lot. So people don't underestimate the power of social media. So,
I always tell people when I leave here, I want to leave on empty, right? Like I don't want to leave with the full tank. Like what's the point in that, right?
In Gaiman, I used to work at the cemetery, and now I feel like death is one of those things that I also not like promote, but I'm very adamant about that it's there. So I'm actually training to be a funeral agent.
Okay.
So I hope, it's something that I kind of get into. I kind of have a sales background.
Yeah.
And so even being able to talk about death, I think is like very important. And I feel like, maybe that's like a big motivation. Make that be a big motivation for some people that we're not here for long.
And you were talking, you sort of brushed a little bit about your traveling, but I think with the traveling also comes the food, right?
Absolutely.
So are you big into food and trying different kinds of food and stuff like that, or what?
One of the other places I've been to is India.
Oh, really?
And
okay,
so
that's cool.
I ate like, they're very vegetarian. Can't find beef over there.
Yeah.
And the street food, man. I regretted it on the plane ride back, but at the time was pretty cool just being able to walk around those streets.
Yeah. Are you pretty open to trying new types
Absolutely,
of food
man.
or what? Yeah.
Here in Oklahoma City, I used to travel a lot, and when I used to work in Telemundo, just looking out for places to make commercials.
Okay.
And so you always land in some like cool restaurants, and you want to try their food. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I'll be able to like, you know, this place need a commercial or.
Yeah, I think like the hole in the wall, like whenever I want to travel, like I want to eat where the locals eat, right? Like I don't want to eat at some chain or something like that. I was like, I want to go where the locals go. That's what I always do is like always look up like, you know, what do the locals say is good around here, right?
Oh, yeah. And just, I don't know, you always get surprised.
Yeah.
At the places that you don't know about, but then you end up there and yeah.
Yeah. What would you say sort of like some of the, maybe like your top 3 restaurants here around the city?
Trompudos.
Oh, okay.
On Southside by OCCC.
Yeah.
I feel they got some nice tacos.
Yeah, they've got like the old school trompo and they're cutting it there with the pineapple, the whole thing, right?
And then like the tamashi ramen or Goro ramen. I love ramen too. Yeah, and I know it's starting to get cold again.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, I live right behind Foley and Hua. I feel really nice pho.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I would say for like anytime it's foggy, cold, like some pho or some ramen, definitely hits the spot, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. What do you have planned for the rest of the year?
I think just keep transitioning. I feel like I'm in a transition period, and I'm looking to get into some new, like maybe careers or industries. Mm-hmm. And I honestly just take care of myself. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. And
then keep being creative, keep doing, just never stop, and you'll be surprised where life takes you.
Yeah. Are you sort of wanting to learn anything new? Like, you know, you've got the music side, you've got the photography side. Is there any other hobby we're going to throw on the list?
I'm thinking like, I definitely want to keep playing soccer and get better.
Okay.
Maybe I always thought skateboarding, but I don't know if that's for me, man. Every time I get on that board, I fall down.
It's tough, yeah.
I get some buddies that are like really good at it. I admire them.
Yeah, shout out to Tony Hawk. That dude, I don't know how he's done it for that long. I mean, because you're going to fall down. Regardless of how good you are, you're going to fall down from that skateboard, right?
Yeah.
You get beat up pretty good.
I feel like I want to pick up even some more music, maybe some more, like experiment with it a lot more. I know you're a DJ.
Definitely.
And so that's something that I admire too. I love the DJing scene here.
Yeah. And I just got into DJing because I could never learn how to play an instrument. So I love music, and I was like, okay, well, let's try this DJ stuff. And you know, it kind of worked out.
How'd you get into it? Like, what kind of music do you like playing?
So I play everything. I really like just like reading the crowd. I never go in with a set list or anything like that. You know, every event is different. And depending on the age of the crowd, where they're from, like I'm pretty good at reading the crowd. And I'm like, okay, you like this artist, you're going to like this. And then I just start mixing it up. So that's kind of the way I approach it.
That's what's up. And let us know your next show.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll be there.
Okay.
And cool. You know, I love taking pics, a lot of my DJ friends, and, you know, just what I feel OKC's got a good scene, and everybody should go out on the nightlife, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, the thing that I hope is that we just continue to support each other, right? Because there's other markets, bigger markets where all the creatives, all the musicians, they do collabs, they work together, and that's sort of how they build out a scene, right? Just being together. Don't view people as your competition. View it more as like, hey, there's an opportunity here for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Just do your thing, and don't be afraid to like experiment and try new like different mediums.
Yeah, definitely. What about concerts just for fun? Do you just like go to concerts just as like a fan or what?
Oh yeah, I'm going to one next week. Broken Social Scene.
Okay.
I don't know if you like the indie rock. Yeah. So I'm gonna be there, and there's so many cool bands coming these next 2 months. I feel the weather's getting better. And so just excited. I have a lot of shows, like Queens of the Stone Age is coming.
Nice. Where are they coming? Them? Yeah.
I think they're playing the Criterion.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely have to check them out. I really like their guitars. They're, man, pretty amazing.
Like a rock guy?
I'm like a everything guy.
No, that's cool.
So I'm always, that depending on what mood I'm in, it could be like some old school grunge. It could be some, you know, metal. It could be some Spanish. You know, it just depends what mood I'm in.
Same.
Yeah.
I do want to go to more Spanish shows or check out the scene too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, just bringing me some more nostalgia. But it's always, I don't know, like it steps out of your element. You know, they're just so different sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. One of the questions I always like to ask my guests, if we were to play your playlist right now, who we're gonna find on your playlist?
I feel like it'd be all over the place.
Yeah.
Like you would find, oh look, it's
You got
the whole
it.
time.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
That's always my favorite part, because I hope that people watching also get exposed to different types of music. You know, just watching the podcast.
Well,
right.
On my way, I was listening to my chill mix.
Okay.
And so, you know, just wanted to chillax. So this is more like electronica.
Okay, cool.
You know, DJ Shadow, you were listening to?
Yeah, for sure. He's really into like, he mixes like hip hop scratches onto like the electronic stuff. So I really like that, right? Gorillas, of course.
Oh, I was listening to them on the way here.
Yeah, definitely. No, you got a lot of Blood Orange.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely like that. Yeah, you got quite a mix, right? Frank Ocean.
Absolutely.
Definitely love Frank Ocean. He's put out a new album.
Oh, yeah. MF Doom, man. Shout out. R.I.P.
Yeah,
I got a tattoo of his.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So that was like one of your biggest like artists or what?
Yeah, I like the more like goofier stuff.
Okay.
You know, cool guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think I ever saw like an official picture of him without the mask.
Me neither.
Right? Like there's like suspicious of like maybe it's that guy, but I don't think there's a confirmed photo of like, hey, this is the guy, right?
I like can't think of one, and I probably don't want to see it, man. Just that allure, that mystery.
Yeah, it's like never meet your idol sort of thing. Or what? Yeah.
And no, he was a cool one, man. Big fan of his music.
Yeah, that's very cool, man. So it sounds like you're taking the music stuff pretty serious. It sounds like
every day, man.
Yeah, that's cool. How do you sort of stay in tune with like what's going on in the music scene?
Just think following what you love. Yeah. I tend to listen to a lot of older stuff. But I mean, I'm always surprised by the newer stuff too. Yeah, I try not to be so much like a hipster and like listen to, you know, like, oh, you don't know this band, but just a little bit of everything, you know, just what makes you happy. And I'm always surprised at the stuff that kind of like captures me. Yeah,
definitely. So you're not one of those guys that's like, hey, I knew this band before they blew up. They're not cool anymore.
I'll fanboy about Bjork or something.
Okay,
so you got to check out Bjork.
Yeah. Cool. What about newer stuff? Any artists that you like that are sort of up and coming?
Yeah, even on the rock scene, there's this one, Tanuki-chan. Okay. She's coming, female fronted. I don't know if you're into shoegaze.
No,
so it's kind of blowing guitars, like kind of a lot of buzzing, that grungy kind of.
Okay.
But like it's cool stuff. I know like the rock scene always surprises me how like some kids come up with some cool sound, even with like electronica too.
Yeah. I think the interesting part that's happening in the music scene is so far in 2023, there hasn't been a hip hop #1. So that's pretty crazy if you think about it, right? Like other years, there's always been like hip hop is killing it in the charts. This year, there hasn't been a single that's been #1.
I feel like in some way, like hip hop's become more alternative.
Yeah.
And so it's like going through its like rock age. But I mean, if you keep up with it and you see like the really cool artists that are still coming out, like I'm a huge fan of like Isaiah Rashad.
Okay.
And I mean, still like Kendrick's still around. He's still putting stuff, and just the experimentation that's occurring too, like between like different genres.
Yeah. Some people are saying hip hop is dead.
Yeah, honestly, I believe it, but it's morphing, you know. Yeah. I think everything is like everything dies and everything turns to something new.
Yeah.
It's just a part of the cycle.
What's making a comeback, I think, is country music.
Yeah, always surprised. I like people that like I'm like alternative country, but there's a kid, you know, Amarillo's not far from the Panhandle.
Yeah.
And he's the fighting me for the title of Panhandle Prince, but he's really good at guitar.
Okay.
Pagan Hindigo, but he's just like amazing seeing somebody that's like, nice. I think he's also running for city council.
Really? Shout out to him.
Yeah, cool. So it's just like kids like that are doing like, just doing it differently.
Yeah, I recently saw Zach Bryan.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He was on the
Oklahoma Boy.
On the Rogan podcast, Oklahoma Boy. That's pretty crazy.
No, right? I love his style is cool.
Yeah, definitely. He seems like super humble, and he just started like uploading songs to Twitter. And that's how he just like uploaded. I think he was like in the military or something. Mm-hmm. Started uploading random songs, and all of a sudden he started to go viral. Oh yeah, that's pretty crazy. The day we live in, right? Like you could be, you know, across the country in the military, and you're just uploading songs. You don't think anybody's gonna notice
until
and then,
you do.
You know, then you're like on the Rogan podcast all of a sudden, right?
I would say you see that guy from Virginia, the guy with that.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's up with that. But he went viral as well too.
Staying on the Joe Rogan, but are you a fan of Sturgill Simpson?
Yeah.
He's on that show a lot, and I love his music.
Yeah.
Meta modern sounds and country music.
Yeah. I think, man, country is having sort of a come up. Like, Chris Stapleton for sure. He's been killing it for a while. There's been a lot of guys that have been carrying that for a while. And all of a sudden, like it's getting some momentum. Oh, yeah. So that's cool.
I feel like that's the kind of music I want to play too. Eventually, in some kind. I didn't grow up the biggest country fan.
Yeah,
I always kind of shied away from it. But I think once people give it a chance, very rewarding.
Well, I think you growing up in the Panhandle, you're gonna listen to country. You can't escape it, right?
Yeah. But it's surprising how diverse that little town is. So you do get a lot of more Mexican music and a lot of reggaeton.
Really? If you're into photography, video, stuff like that, I bet you got some movies, right? So give me maybe like your top 5 movies.
I think one that always like holds a special place in my heart is like Trainspotting, that Scottish movie about, heroin junkies.
Yeah.
And so it was started out as a book. Love the characters, and the music's badass, and just how like greedy of a film it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What else you got?
And say like I love Pulp Fiction. And A City of God.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a nice little Brazilian movie.
Okay.
Very fast paced. I think another one, I love my Mexican movies. So Amores Perros and Y Tu Mamá También are just very classics.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What about like you think you would ever want to pursue making a movie?
Yeah. I think that's always been a dream of mine.
Okay.
It's just what kind of movie, I don't know. But hopefully to get up there would be nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, if you're already exploring different genres, different things, like different mediums, why not, right? Like just put a project together, right? The film industry is also blowing up here in Oklahoma, so that's pretty cool to see.
No, and seeing like the things that are coming out, the things that are people that are coming together.
Yeah.
I was helping shoot a music video just a few weeks ago with my friend Matt Miller.
Okay.
He runs the 1984 Studios, and I love his style, making short movies. And so it's people like that, like I really admire. I know we talk about Rogelio, his projects.
Yeah, you told me that you knew him like back from school, or how did you cross paths with Rogelio? Shout out to Rogelio.
Yeah, he worked at UCO.
Okay.
I think in the media department. And so there was like I was doing I guess my thesis was on like masculinity.
Okay.
And just like how guys like we talk about like these like subjects. And so he participated, and I got to interview him, and like it was all kind of recorded. It was just me though.
Yeah.
So it was like, I guess my dabble into podcasting.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool. I mean, you talk about somebody pursuing their dreams, right? Like he started, I think just like he wanted to capture, he was in the military, he wanted to capture some of that. So he picked up a camera, started doing that. All of a sudden, he's like running a film festival here in Oklahoma, right? That's pretty crazy.
I never took him for a military guy either until he mentioned it.
Yeah.
And I know that it like probably made a huge impact on him, on what he does.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think that's the crazy part is like that's what got him into filmmaking, right? So think about that, like having to go overseas in the military in order to discover, hey, I like this creative outlet, right? So that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, and all the people that are doing like wonderful things, like always support them.
Yeah, I think that's cool. What about like just learning from people? Are you collabing to like learn some new stuff or what?
Yeah, always trying. Always end up just, making friends along the way.
Yeah.
And so you're always surprised, like the people that you kind of meet, and they bring you on stuff, and they're like, yeah, we need, an extra here, or do you want to come take pics of the van? I'm like, yeah, sure. Or you want to play here? So I'm like really grateful for that. And
are you like more self-taught, or how did you learn how to do photography and everything?
Yeah, a little self-taught. I know that I kind of started around when there was this one kid I met that does some really nice pictures, Aldo De Laura. And so he kind of got me into doing it. And I just kind of wanted to do, photography. First maybe film, but then I was like, nah, it takes too much. It's too expensive. So I started going digital. And so I just kind of like things that work, and I'm a big fan of like thinking about like people, like your material condition and what you do, what you have, the resources that you have, and like how to make the most out of it.
Got it. Are you Nikon, Canon, Sony?
Canon.
Yeah,
you want to see?
Okay. What do you shoot with, like a 5D, or what do you shoot?
I carry like a lot of different lenses.
Okay.
But, I think I call it the grimiest lens in Oklahoma.
Yeah, what do you got? Just like the nifty 50 or what?
I have a 50.
Yeah.
For profile.
Everybody says like that's all you need, right? Like the nifty 50.
And I have a fisheye.
Nice.
Just recently got this one. So
Cool. So you're like, stay ready. Like this is like your concert setup or what? Yeah.
And it's,
Cool.
I know, try to take care of it as best I can.
Yeah.
But, just put it in there and get some pictures and then upload them and send them to people. And
You having the sensor open like that is scaring me. But I would be worried about dust getting into the sensor, right? But,
take two, I take the best care that I can.
Yeah.
But I think most of the times I'm just, just doing things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people like they get the lens covers. They
Too
the
protective.
The dust, everything, right?
No,
and you can tell like you're using your camera gear and like you're not afraid to get dirty with the camera, right?
Nah, and I guess that's like different people's style.
Yeah.
I know some people are very careful with their things, and there's nothing wrong with taking
Yeah.
care of yourself. But for me, I don't know. Like, and I say like I bleed into the things that I do, but I really do like just kind of this is kind of like representative too of like my mental state, and so I just kind of do it. I don't know, like it's not always like it's a good outlet, and that's how I always see things,
Right.
like music and photography.
But you're a believer it doesn't have to be perfect in order to put it out. Or
well,
what?
life isn't perfect.
Yeah.
And you have to start out not knowing how to do things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever explored like portrait photography or street photography?
The things I've gone into, even shot like from shooting models to shooting bands to shooting events.
Okay.
You just kind of find what works, and that's another thing I love about photography is even like kind of playing in music, but the authenticity.
Yeah.
And just how to keep it real. I feel that's just like a big moral for me. So
Yeah, I always find street photographers really interesting. I don't know how you can like take a picture without people getting mad at you or not noticing you, because if they notice you, it kind of ruins the moment, right? Like the whole point, you want it to be authentic and in the moment, right?
I always try when I do street photography, try to focus on like maybe like a building or something or a feeling.
Okay.
Not so much, but when I'm like on events, then we gotta like, I think it's a great icebreaker.
Yeah.
So you can like talk to anybody. People want pictures, and once they see you snapping people, then they want pictures.
For sure.
So it's just like you gotta gauge it. Like, I mean, there's people that just do a lot of different things, and so it's always nice to stay creative.
That we're running out of time, right?
No, that's cool.
So I think we touched a lot of the stuff that, like I said, jack of all trades, right?
Yeah, a little
so
bit.
maybe plug in your social. I always like to give an opportunity for people. Where can they find you? If you have a website, social media,
Just,
plug in Instagram, Twitter, whatever you got. You're on TikTok or
Marco
anything like
Salas.
that?
No, not TikTok. Should I try it?
I think you should. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're into
keep it open.
video, right?
But I always feel with like TikTok, you have to like stay a little bit more charismatic,
Yeah.
and like make little more videos. But
Yeah.
eventually, maybe I'll try it.
Yeah, I think you should try it. I mean, you're trying everything else,
Yeah,
right?
why not, right?
No, I think that's cool. What about like any website or anything like that you want to plug in or no?
Not yet,
No?
but maybe
Okay.
work on it. Yeah,
Okay.
get a nice website, and I don't know, just whatever like people reach me. I think it's always like on Facebook, on whatever social media.
Yeah.
And so I'm always down to help, the community of OKC.
That's awesome. No, well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your
thanks.
busy schedule, hopping on the Maverick Podcast. Anytime you want to swing by, just let us know.
I appreciate it, and same here, like whatever you need. So
All right, there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, the super talented Marco Salas on the Maverick Podcast. Keep grinding, because in dreams, we trust.